This is the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. It's an AR-15, all polymer from the upper receiver, lower receiver, quad rail handguard. It's mostly polymer and it's chambered in .22 long rifle. But other than that, it is the same as an AR-15. Same controls, same ergonomics, great for training, great for teaching your kids, and just a really fun little rifle. And super accurate. Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. As you can probably guess from the intro, today's review is on the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522. What is the M&P 1522? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is Smith & Wesson's AR-15, M&P 15, which is what this was, what it still is, technically, but in .22 long rifle. There are a lot of things that I like about this rifle, very few things I dislike, and for what it is, I think it's pretty sweet. But we're going to go into all the details, and you can decide if it's something that makes sense for you or not. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to Sawtooth Tactical. So those first shots were just way too easy, so I figured we'd back it up a bit. This thing's really fun. So .22 LR. I don't necessarily think of it as like a super effective defensive caliber, but I do think that it has its uses. And I don't mean that it's not an effective defensive caliber at all. I just think that there are better choices. I think if you're trying to defend your home, your family, your livelihood, the people that you love, I think, 9mm, 5.56, 300 blackout, these are all great choices. I think .22 has other uses, in my opinion, that are also very important. For one, it's a great round for training. Now, while you don't quite get the recoil that you get out of your 5.56 rifle, that's not such a huge deal breaker to me because 5.56, 223 doesn't recoil a lot anyway. But it's a lot cheaper to run through hundreds of rounds of .22 LR in a day than it is to run through hundreds of rounds of 5.56 or especially something like 300 blackout. Also, .22 is a great round for introducing your children into the world of firearms, gun safety, in a way that is not, overly loud. It doesn't have recoil, like I said, and it's just not going to be intimidating in the same way, specifically because of the noise and recoil, again. But besides that, so there are a lot of things that you can get in .22. I've done videos on this channel about Ruger 10 .22s. This revolver right here, it's a Heritage Rough Rider, it's a .22. And these things all do the .22 thing very well. One thing that they don't do is have AR-15 controls and ergonomics, and that is what this does do. So in that way, again, I think it's better for cheap training. .22 is a lot cheaper than 5.56, 223, but also for getting newer shooters into the game. Because if you want them to learn how to run an AR-15, well, something like this is absolutely perfect. All the controls are the same. All the ergonomics are the same. It takes, although it's made mostly of polymer, this is a polymer quad rail handguard, polymer upper and lower receiver, it is mil-spec, it's not mil-spec, but it's mil-spec in the way that it will take your standard AR-15 parts. You can put any stock on this that you want. I put this stock on it earlier, worked just fine on this buffer tube. It'll take any foregrips, vertical foregrips, angled foregrips, whatever you like to run. You can put optics on it, like there is right now. backup iron sights. You could put a light, a pressure pad, you know, night vision, you know, lasers, whatever you feel like, you can mount on this just like you can on any other AR-15. The only thing that it won't take, being that it doesn't have a threaded barrel, is different muzzle devices. And unless you're trying to run it suppressed, that doesn't really matter because, again, 22 LR, not a lot of flash, so no need for a flash hider, not a lot of recoil, no need for a muzzle brake or comp. So the AR-15 is my favorite rifle platform, but there's just something fun about 22. It's got no recoil, it's not very loud, it's not intimidating for new shooters, and so it's just kind of casual shooting fun, and there's a lot to be said for that. It really is fun. So when we look at this thing a little closer, you can see that besides it being made out of polymer instead of like 7075 T6 aluminum, it is an AR-15. You have your magazine release in the exact same spot. And it takes these magazines that are very, very easy to load, which is nice. It's a double stack 22 LR magazine, but you could pull down on the follower as you load it, making it extremely easy to put the next round in. And that is very nice for loading magazines at the range. And for a polymer magazine, it feels very high quality. It also takes these. This is like a 60 round ridiculous big freaking magazine, and it runs just fine in it. That's the other thing I found about this gun is it has been 100% reliable in the couple hundred rounds that I've put through it so far. Now it's got your same bolt release, bolt catch, charging handle. So if you pull it, you know, take this and pull it back just like your regular AR. The bolt locks open, drops when you push the bolt drop, and everything else. And in fact, it even takes AR-15 trigger groups and safeties and other small parts. So if you pull the lower off of the upper here, it literally looks exactly like any other AR-15. So if you really wanted to, you could put a Geisley trigger or any other favorite drop-in trigger that you have and have a really, really nice shooting gun. Safety, trigger, and even the mil-spec trigger that is in this, it is really not bad at all. For a polymer 22, I think it's pretty sweet. The one that I've got here right now does have some iron sights. They are not flip-ups, they're stationary iron sights, and they're set at a lower 1/3 co-witness, which works great with this red dot. And there's a true glow dot, something that I haven't had a lot of experience with before running this rifle. But it doesn't have shake awake or anything, but it definitely holds zero, especially for something like a 22. I was hitting targets at 100 yards with ease today. The M&P 1522 is actually something that I've wanted to get my hands on for a very long time. For one, and I know if you guys have followed the channel for a while, you know that I've been working on getting my daughter into shooting for quite a while, and 22 is a really easy way to do that. But she doesn't seem super excited about shooting so much, at least lately. But what she does like is the customization aspect of building out, customizing, upgrading your guns. And something like this, being that it looks just like Dad's AR-15, you can literally do just that. I might have to get one of these for her because I've got a lot of extra parts. I've got Magpul grips, different stocks, foregrips. I've even got some cheaper lights, you know, that I got on Amazon before I knew any better, that I don't run on any of my current rifles, that would work great on something like this. So this might be something that we have to get into at some point. Now, Smith & Wesson did at one point offer a pistol version of this, and we actually checked it out at a gun shop in Boise, Idaho one time, And it is absolutely perfect for a younger kid. Not that this isn't. Part of the deal with everything being polymer is it is super lightweight, even with the big quad rail, and that is awesome. But they do make a pistol version with a shorter barrel, M-LOK handguard, and the one that we saw had an SBA3 brace on it, which, again, if you know, you know. The whole pistol brace thing we're dealing with right now, I don't think those are on the market at this point, which is a shame. It's unfortunate because they're literally the perfect training tool for teaching a new shooter. But so is this. I mean, the lightweight of this, it doesn't feel like a big rifle. Not that an AR-15 is heavy anyway, but this thing just does feel very light and maneuverable, which is really nice. When you're shooting 22, light and maneuverable is what you want. 22 is casual, it's fun. And that is the other great thing about this, is even if you're not teaching a new shooter, whatever, is just a fun gun for anybody. I had a really great time out there with this thing today. Because the recoil is so minimal, you can literally just set the dot on your target, even at a pretty decent distance, and just ring steel over and over and over again with like zero effort. And so for that reason, this thing is super fun. And the other thing, again, being that it's a mostly polymer construction, it comes in at a pretty reasonable price point. The cool thing about an AR-15 chambered in 22 is you get all the benefits of 22. Like I said, no recoil, cheap ammo, all of that stuff. But it's an AR. You can set it up just like you would your any other, duty rifle or tactical defensive carbine. You can put any accessories you want on it. And with this red dot, I mean, it's really easy to be accurate with this thing out to even 100 yards or more. Easy to go through ammo quickly too. I've shot a lot of 22s over the years, and I have been trying to decide what kind of 22 to get for my daughter to be the next step after her BB gun. Because she could shoot a 22 just fine at this point. And I do think that something like this is probably exactly what we need. As much as I love the Ruger 1022, and I do, and you could customize those out the way you want as well. There is something about being able to just use all the same parts and accessories as you can on your regular AR-15s on something like this. There's something about it having all the same controls, the same ergonomics, feeling exactly the same as your go-to shit hits the fan rifle, your duty rifle, your defensive carbine. This can literally be the same thing, just chambered in 22. And I know that CMMG makes a 22LR conversion kit that'll run in any 223, 5.56 AR. And that's probably something that we will have to review on this channel at some point as well. But after actually getting some hands-on experience with the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522, I gotta say I'm pretty impressed. For a semi-auto 22, it's been 100% reliable in the time that I've had it. I haven't had a single failure to feed, failure to fire, no kinds of jams, nothing like that. It is just ran, which, if you know about 22LR, it wasn't really designed for semi-automatic guns. It was designed for revolvers. It's a rimmed cartridge, and it is rim fire, not center fire. But some platforms run it well. Again, Ruger 1022, super reliable. But my experience with this has been the same, very reliable. And that makes it fun. You don't want to spend all your time clearing malfunctions and stuff. And I just love that, that it can take any parts that you want to put on it. I really like customizing guns. I like upgrading them, changing out, putting on the parts that I want. You can put a Radian Talon safety on this, a Geisley trigger. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you could put a Raptor charging handle or whatever charging handle you want. I know you could put anything that fits on a Picatinny quad rail And that includes any kinds of grips, lights, lasers, whatever. Stocks. You can make this exactly the way you want, which is part of the fun of an AR-15. But you could do it with a 22. And that's kind of what I really love about it. Tell me what you guys think down below. Do you have experience with an M&P 1522? You probably know, if you've watched this channel for any period of time, that I do like Smith & Wesson firearms. One of my favorite pistols, M&P. There's an M&P 2.0 full size. This was my very first AR-15, M&P 15 Sport 2. Now it doesn't look at all like the M&P 15 Sport 2 does when you buy it, and that's kind of the whole point. It's fun to upgrade it and make it exactly what you want it to be, which is what you could do with something like this. But even in its stock form, it is a heck of a lot of fun. So let me know what you guys think about this, about 22s in general. Do you think it's a great training aid, a great way to get other people into shooting, or just a really fun way to go plink and, you know, not be super expensive as far as the ammo goes? Let me know what you think down below. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. Please like and share this video if you got any benefit out of it. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.